Yeah, I think my bad. I think I kept you waiting long enough. I don't know if you're waiting in that little premiere menu thing. I don't know. I'm just gonna quickly notify a few people that I'm streaming, so I'm just gonna play this on loop. So I hope it's not too annoying. But that being said, I know I'll just play it. I think I muted myself. Yeah, that's enough of that. I'm just gonna. Um, I'm a little bit sick and tired of that track, and it's not actually Blizzard Man. It's Airman's theme from last stream, but it's too lazy to figure out to swap out the music. But same idea as last stream. I'm just gonna continue working away at this, and like I know it's boring. I'm not like you don't have to watch it. Like I understand if you click off the video if you don't want to watch. It's fine. But the other day I learned how to do this. Like that was just so sick to me. I was so excited about it, and it took me 2 hours. It took me 2 hours of my life to figure out how to do a very trivial thing. But anyway, the focus of this stream I put in the description box, but I'm gonna try and get this effect to work on the other two bars here, the HP bar and the skull bar for the boss. And I'm thinking I'm gonna fix the lighting on the helmet so it appears a little bit less dingy. Other than that, I think I wanna here. Let me just hit play. After hearing that for like, oh my god, how many times have I heard this? See, like if I hit full screen here, you'll notice that the helmet's a little bit small. I don't know. I feel like it's small and it's not really reflecting. I don't know. It's not lit up properly. It looks dark, like a little bit dingy to me. Second thing I want to probably change is that weapon icon. I probably want that to be a little bit more prominent, like a little bit bigger, but there's not much I can do like when it's I mean honestly, can you even see the damn thing like when it's rotating? Like does it even make a difference? But yeah, I mean the idea being like when it's on Blizzard Man's track, let's just say that's Blizzard Man's attack, it'll stay that color. It won't be doing this rainbow thing. Maybe it will, but most likely not. So yeah, I think I'm running out of ideas for this thing. I've been at this for like couple of weeks now, but I've been making good progress on it, to be honest. The next thing I want to swap out is that visualizer. I can just show you what I mean. Like you can see, it's just a flat plane that I can rotate and yeah. I mean it's hard to explain, but this is all like temporary stuff right now. I mean nothing is concrete, you know what I mean? Nothing is set in stone right now, but what I'm doing on these streams is I'm just trying to build up these systems and try to have everything working, you know, I mean, like, I'll give you an example. So, this little orange cube that you see me dragging, that's actually controlling, like the further up and down it goes, controls this little bar here, so it's kind of hard to explain, but this is a very crude way to control that, and I feel like I want to have like a little bit of a, I don't know, a more refined way to control these values, because my intention is to animate these, you know, as the video plays. So just as an example, I mean, like this bar specifically, the one that's moving, I want it to kind of act as like a timer, so as the track plays, you know, it starts to decrease and decrease. So like about here, you'd be like, oh, okay, I'm halfway through the track. Good. I don't want to listen to this, but I don't know. I just wanted to take it an extra step and do that little closing and opening animation. And just in case you're wondering, that is not at all what happens in the game. It just stays like a full bar, and it just, you know, goes up and down. But I don't know. I just had an idea, and you know, I wanted to put it to good. I wanted to test it out and see if it would work, and to my surprise it did work, so I'm kind of happy with that. But yeah, I'm not gonna ramble too much. I already rambled quite a bit, to be honest, but yeah, that's the plan. I mean, other than that, I have like minor nitpicks with this border here. This, I don't know, to me it just seems weird to have like two of these green lights things side by side, and I don't know, I feel like this middle part should be centered, and but that's all trivial stuff. Like that's all stuff that I can do after. Right now I just, you know, like I said, I just want to build these things and I don't know, get everything in a working state, then do it all again, or you know, just make a new file and then refine it so it's usable. And yeah, I don't know, I honestly don't know at this point. But I will do a different modeling stream sometime soon. I do want to kind of model more of this, like these helmets and stuff, because that was kind of fun. I mean, like, doing the same thing over and over gets kind of boring. I'll just say that right now. So I might do a music stream next stream, but I don't know. I might just continue on this. I feel like I've been making good progress on it, so I kind of want to just keep at it. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know, I feel like maybe I should take a break from this, but maybe just this specifically. I've been at this for quite a while now, so I don't know, I might just take some time off from this or do a different stream. But with that being said, I'm gonna shut up now. I rambled way too much, like I always do. I'm just gonna listen to that SCP guy. There's a link to his playlist in the little chat. And like I always say, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Otherwise, business as usual. Just gonna keep chipping away at this thing and hopefully not let scope creep in and make me take like 10 times as long to do it. Honestly, like I'm enjoying this. It's just like every now and then I'll get an idea, like that stupid bar, right? I don't even know where that thing is. Oh, it's right here. Like this animation, right? Like that creeped up on me when I was at work, and I was like, I wonder how I can do that. And I don't know. It took me a while, but I finally figured it out. So we'll see what happens. Okay, moving on. Let's just listen to the guy, and I'll shut up now.
SCP-093 Red Sea Object. In a universe of eldritch destroyers, inexplicable phenomena, and marvelous creations, it might be surprising that one of the most interesting and evocative of the SCPs is a small stone disk that changes colors. SCP-093 is one of the earliest SCPs to be written up, and yet it continues to fascinate newcomers years later. Many SCPs are interesting because of their descriptions, their forms and functionalities, while others, such as 093, are interesting because of the extras added on, such as addendums, interviews, or in this case, exploration logs. SCP-093 is a lengthy report, but I suggest reading it for yourself to get the full experience. If you're just interested in a summary, or an explanation, however, keep watching. SCP-093 is a stone disk, generally red, that can comfortably fit into most palms. Unknown engravings and symbols cover the disk, and the color of the disk will change when held by an individual, with the color believed to be based on the regrets held by the holder. The disk also has an anomalous attraction to mirrors, and when not held or attached to a mirror, the disk will rapidly move towards the nearest mirror.
Just wanted to really quickly chime in. If you just see me like pausing like this on the stream, that's because I'm googling like more assets to download and then put them in these. Basically, what I'm doing is like this. I am so like I have this flat image. It has a texture on it, which is the. I'm struggling here. It's this texture, so I have an idea that, I want to include a new sprite effect or a new little animation thing. So if you just see the stream pausing like that, I'm not, I am taking a bit of a break, but what I'm doing is I'm just Googling stuff, so I don't know, I just felt the need to interrupt the video and explain that, so I'm just gonna get back to it and shut up.
Building up immense speed and smashing through any obstacles to get to its destination. Despite this speed, upon collision with a mirror, neither the mirror or the disk will suffer any damage, and the disk will cling to the mirror. Most notably, however, is when an individual holding the disk places it on a mirror, upon which they will proceed to move into the mirror, traveling to an alternate location. Upon learning of this, the Foundation commenced with 5 separate tests, sending different individuals through the mirror with supplies, weapons, and a video camera connected by a length of cable back through the mirror. Since the disk is believed to change color based on an individual's regrets or guilt, the first test subject is an expendable D class, convicted of murder, and with a history of attempted suicide. The D class fully cooperated with every step of the testing, and the disk changed into a hue of blue while held. After entering through a mirror, the subject passed into an empty lowland plain, but everything is tinged with a heavy blue color in the video feed, although the subject later states there is no odd coloring for him. Subject walks across the plain, devoid of landmarks, until he comes across a primitively dug hole. Subject is instructed to enter the hole, reluctantly doing so, climbing down with his hands 100 meters. As the D class reaches the bottom of the hole and continues to walk through a passage, he reaches a concrete enclosure and complains of a strong stench. Light fixtures dot the ceiling, and 7 doors line the enclosure. After trying a few doors and finding them stuck shut, one of them opens into an empty room with a substance coating the walls, resembling brown, burnt plastic. Subject manages to open another door with a broken key, finding the ceiling covered in the same substance, as well as a cot, a pillow, and a crate. Inside the crate seems to be food boxes, with the word cereal written on them, although the video footage shows the writing as obscured squiggles. Subject notices some articles hanging on a wall, but the writing is illegible and most of them crumble at the slightest touch due to age. There's also a book present, and when the subject approaches it, a high-pitched screeching noise erupts from somewhere for a few seconds. After the noise ceases, subject is told to leave the room, and sees some sort of figure peeping through the door at the end of the hall before it closes. Subject continues exploring, finding a few more crumbling articles and cereal boxes, before being told to leave by control staff. Subject readily complies, complaining that the stench is getting worse, but as he begins his ascent up the tunnel, the cable attached to him suddenly tightens and starts to pull the D-Class up. As the subject reaches the top, he notices nothing has changed, and begins to walk back towards the mirror. The cable begins pulling away at a 90-degree angle, and the subject turns around to see 37 figures standing behind him, each lacking identifiable features, as well as the blue tinge. Subject panics, the cable continues to be pulled in odd ways, and the subject begins shooting at an unseen target. Subject is finally brought back through the mirror with a foul-smelling fluid on his clothes. Looking back through the mirror, personnel noted the presence of a massive humanoid creature, at least 50 times the size of a human but with no facial features, crawling along the ground. The second test, the green test, commences with a female D-Class who stole a vehicle and caused the deaths of 2 children during the escape. Subject is cooperative, the disc turns green, and subject enters into a farmland landscape tinged green. The fields are barren, but the subject approaches a nearby farmhouse, circling it and finding 2 children's bicycles, a girl's and a boy's, as well as boys' clothes arranged descending a set of stairs. Subject screams at control, thinking this is some sort of sick joke based on her history, but it seems that the disc might have some control over location based on the subject's past. Subject descends into the cellar, finding it largely abandoned and unremarkable, but begins to complain about a stench. She finds a hatch on the ground, with the smell being the worst around it, and she descends the hatch to find a concrete enclosure similar to the blue test, but in much better condition. In the enclosure, she finds more cereal boxes, 3 skeletons, and an empty revolver. Subject continues searching, finding newspaper articles, a book, clothing, toys resembling those from the 1950s, and an Ethernet jack covered in a fluid so repulsive that she refuses to take a sample. Subject sees a figure at the top of the ladder she begins to climb out, but it quickly disappears. She immediately vomits upon reaching the top of the ladder, and reports hearing a noise that Control does not. After stepping out of the cellar, she sees 2 of the massive humanoids crawling in the distance, noting that their arms seem to shrink and grow at different times. 10 minutes later, the humanoids disappear out of sight, and subject is instructed to enter the farmhouse. Dust coats the kitchen, food is spoiled, and the entire decor seems to strongly resemble that of the 1950s, although the subject locates a laptop. The laptop reveals the final shutdown moments of an operating system titled Faithful OS. Continued searching finds a children's bedroom, and when subject looks out a window, she sees a city in the distance, and the video footage shows roughly 300 figures standing around the house, although subject reports seeing none of them. Subject is told to return to the mirror, which she does, but a loud groaning noise and vibration is present for both subject and control staff as subject comes back through the mirror. The violet test involved a young male convicted of murdering a police officer during a drug bust, utilizing excessive violence. Subject was uncooperative with the tests, but entered through the mirror into an urban cityscape with a violet tinge. The city seems to be largely empty, but there are a few cars that look to be futuristic and streamlined. Most of the cars seem to emit a powerful stench, and inspection reveals their interiors are filled with a large amount of a strange brown substance. Finally, the subject finds a car that seems to be newer than the others, and is empty, so he enters the vehicle. The dashboard of the car shows no steering wheel, ignition, or other controls, only a few blank screens, implying the car is possibly autonomous. Later review of the video footage shows a humanoid figure looking into the car from outside, but subject doesn't notice it, and Control decides to send in a professional team of armed escorts to assist in the exploration. The team enters the nearest building, titled XEA Research Partners Inc., and finds a typical corporate lobby, with a computer at the receptionist desk waiting for a login for Faithful OS. Much of the technology seen in the building seems to be advanced, and the team takes an elevator to the 114th floor, noting that 13 and 113 are missing from the keypad. The team gets a view of the city from the top floor, seeing that it is silent and devoid of activity, but a number of buildings have a strange brown growth attached to them. A view of the expressway sees one of the large humanoid creatures crawling along it, but the team heads back in the elevator, where they find that the button for the 74th floor has already been activated. They agree to go to this floor, finding another reception area, with a sign-in sheet bearing the year 1953. A logged-in computer contains text files related to appointment information, and the team finds a notepad belonging to someone named Dr. Boriziski, Blessed Purificationist. The team continues to search the floor, and finds a number of large containment capsules, some of them broken and leaking a brownish material, and others intact and holding nude humans with breathing masks. Charts for these patients contain conditions, but rather than physical ailments, the charts list personality flaws or incidents that occurred with them, such as infidelity. One chart discusses that the patient was submitted to a 3-day period in the Lord's Tears to cleanse her system, and another prescribes a week in the Lord's Tears to give peace of self. Suddenly, the D-class subject begins to panic and yell at the humanoid entities that are now surrounding him, visible on the video feed, but the escort team sees nothing. Entities continue to stare at the subject as one of the escort members grabs him, and the group returns to the ground floor. After leaving the building, one of the large creatures on the expressway notices the group, letting out a bellowing roar, and begins to rapidly move towards them. All but one of the team manage to make it back through the mirror, and when they attempt to head back into the mirror a short while later, they report a horrific smell. Upon going through, they find the uniform and possessions of the lost team member, but not the body. A review of the footage shows lost team member firing his weapon at the creature, which seems to be dripping a brown liquid, before being presumably eaten or absorbed by the creature. It became clear after analyzing recovered newspaper articles that something terrible occurred in this parallel world, and the Foundation became interested on whether or not any precautionary measures needed to be taken to prevent similar circumstances in our world. Because of this, rather than sending a D-class for another test, a doctor volunteered to go through for the yellow test. The doctor was cleared of any psychological issues and had no history of criminal activity. After stepping through into a yellow-tinged office environment, the doctor decided to forego the pulley return system. The office contains a number of computers, all running Faithful OS, and the doctor also finds many filing folders, some of them bearing a symbol of praying hands. Entering the elevator, the doctor notes he is on the 34th floor, and the elevator keypad lists the floors as -115 to 115, with no floors missing like the other building. He descends to floor -115, and during the lengthy descent, the camera glitches and reveals 14 other figures in the elevator with him. Another glitch shortly after reveals the doctor alone in the elevator, and he remarks on a rising stench from below. The doctor stops on the -110th floor, where he finds an observation deck from which he can access a few camera systems. He sees thousands of broken capsule containers, as well as one of the huge creatures on the ground floor, estimated to be 6 stories tall. A document on the PC directs the doctor to a safe on the 54th floor, which he opens to find a notebook and a strange revolver. The doctor returns to finish the test, but also notices the same text document on another computer, realizing that someone had spread a virus to put the document on every PC. This finally leads us to the red test, as SCP-093 was passed around the Foundation until it changed to a different color, which ultimately was with a service technician. The disk takes on a bright red color, and he enters into an obscured environment with no tinge of color. The technician is in a room with a rotating cylinder in the middle, and the walls are lined with countless copies of objects identical to SCP-093. The rotating cylinder is filled with holes, and occasionally beams of light will emit from the cylinder and connect with the discs on the walls. Some spaces on the walls indicate that certain discs are missing, and the technician turns around to reveal that the disc behind him is also missing, presumably as it's the one the technician is holding. The technician descends a ladder into a clean room filled with antiquated computer equipment and a monitor displaying a flashing interval of the words clean and unclean in different colors. The technician also sees a number of container tubes filled with a blue liquid and finds a number of documents on one of the computers. A length of time later, Control loses contact with the subject as the mirror returns to normal for almost 2 minutes before re-establishing itself. The technician returns through the mirror and undergoes sudden convulsions during his debriefing, displaying enhanced strength and killing one of the debriefing staff. It takes a heavily armed team with automatic weapons to take him down, noting that the subject did not bleed when shot, but instead leaked a greenish-brownish substance. Lastly, this brings us to the file on the recovered documents from the various tests, which slowly bring together a number of clues. To summarize, this world is focused on the United Lands of the Sun, a highly religious yet also hypocritical country led by a number of High Fathers, principally the Most Holy Father. Living pure, sin-free lives is priority 1 for most people living in the land, and those that are deemed sinful are sent to facilities where they are contained in capsules with a mixture of substances, most notably one called His Holy Tears, or the Lord's Tears. Subjects were contained for various reasons, such as disobedience, wanton lust, or anything else the High Fathers deemed sinful. More concerning, however, is the presence of creatures known as the unclean, the large half-creatures crawling across the countryside. The unclean seem to have a strange relationship with space and time, and absorb anyone they come across. The unclean spread across the land, consuming and wiping out cities, as the areas known as the unfertile zones continued to grow. Areas outside of the biggest cities became desolate, until eventually the largest cities fell as well, leaving the country quiet and empty. It's the final document recovered from the red test, however, that tells the full story. The document, written by a Foundation agent from another universe, explains that 350 years ago, this world experienced the arrival of an eldritch, godlike creature, known to the people as He. This creature declared that this world was unclean, and that the only way to save it was to purge it of sinners. He bestowed upon the world a number of vast technological advancements, and said in 10 years' time there would be a war to decide who is clean and who is not. The eldritch creature disappeared, and eventually, the war commenced, instigated by the Holy Union of Land, known in our world as the United States. The most notable invention created for the war was the Holy Tears substance, which was said to purge the sins from the unclean. What it actually did, however, at least the purest concentration of the tears, is some sort of genetic restructuring, turning people into the massive creatures. These creatures were attracted to pure concentrations of the tears, and so they were drawn to certain areas, known as the unfertile lands, on purpose in order to contain them. It would seem that these humanoids become servants of the eldritch creature, meant to absorb anything deemed unclean. Those that are absorbed become the faceless humanoids visible only through cameras. These individuals become eternal spirits, never to truly depart from this desolate world, and they only wish to kill the eldritch creature to end their suffering. Somehow, the creature uses the discs to travel between universes, spreading lies and conquering worlds. But the Foundation agent managed to trap it in this universe by destroying his disc and spreading the fragments through other worlds. So that's it. SCP-093 is one of a countless number of transportation devices that a godlike creature uses to travel between universes in order to conquer and destroy worlds. The people in the world the Foundation visited believed his words, accepted his technology, and eventually wiped themselves out, with most of them living an eternal existence of regret. SCP-093 is a lengthy tale, but it's one of my personal favorites, as it continually builds on the mystery of this desolate world, and you're inclined to continue reading to see if the pieces all fall into place. Like many skips, 093 does contain a powerful entity from outside of space and time, but more importantly, it is about the tragic tale of a civilization and their regrets.
I gotta say, I already like the look of this helmet. It just looks so much more, I don't know, pleasing to the eye. Just by changing, like, I just deleted all the lights and I just restarted. So, in case you're wondering what I did, all I did was, I took this light.
The Church of the Broken God.
No.
The SCP universe is filled with countless anomalous objects.
We'll get to that video in just a second. So what I did was I put a light. I just put it straight down over this one. If I just... Yeah, so basically I just put it like facing straight down, but that didn't look right. So all I had to do really, if you just focus on that orange line, like that's where the light's being casted out from it. So if I move it back, then it... See, like it changes the effect on the right hand, like on the right here, so... I kind of like it where it is right now. It gives it, like, just that one light source gives it a... I don't know how to describe it. It just looks so much better. You can see the detail in the color and the, like, let me just check one thing. It might be a little bit too bright because that secondary color is supposed to be on the surface here, but that's... If I did it like that... Yeah, okay, so... It looks a little bit flat, so I'll probably just keep it as extremely bright. It's noticeable enough. I mean, it's not the end of the world. But I do like that lighting style. I mean, it just looks so much more... I don't know, like the top half of it is lit, and then the bottom half is a little bit darker, and it really starts to show the I don't even know the proper words, alright, like the shape of the helmet. Before it just looked kind of flat, like if I had it like, well, that doesn't look too bad either. If I just had it, for example, if I just had it straight, how did I do this? Like if I had it pointing straight down, then it doesn't really look as good in my opinion, but the way it is right now, it has like a nice sort of rim lighting effect, like that's what I was kind of going for, but I'm tempted now. I'm like I might not add more lights because I do kind of like that effect on it. My only concern here right now is the helmet. So if we look at it right now, I mean that icon is extremely tiny, so it's, in my opinion, like it's kind of like a waste to have it there. I mean, if it's not really going to be seen, I mean, you could barely make it out. Some of them you could see just fine, but like, I'll give you an example. That one shows up fine. That's decent. That gets kind of like, I guess it's just because like that is like an 8-bit sprite. I mean, like the later sprites are a little bit more high definition, so it could just be that. And if you can't tell, I'm losing my mind over like something so minuscule. Like I don't think anybody would pay attention to that compared to the rest of the video here, but whatever's like in the scene. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I was a little bit down, like in the beginning. I was a little bit tired, but just changing that lighting setup already gave me like a bit of like, look at this. Look at the background. Like it's slightly faded out, so you can sort of make out what the shape of this would be. And as it rotates, I don't know. It just looks cool. I cannot get over that. I really like it. So my idea here is I might try and increase the size of the helmet on this little hexagon just to make it a little bit more visible, but I'll do that later. What else is on my list? So I've been, I don't know, doing these little doodles on my free time, and then I take a picture of it because I keep adding notes to it. So for example, if I were to do, just give me 1 second here and I'll explain. First, I'll change the name because that's the easy part. If we were to do Frostman, and you're probably like, who's Frostman? Well, he's a boss from Megaman 8. And, like, I'm assuming you're not familiar at all with the series. Like, you're not like me. But what I'm trying to explain is, okay, so in, what's his face? Frostman's level. Sorry, I'm just trying to bring up his little... I'm struggling right now, okay? I'm struggling, but... What I'm trying to show you is just trying to change that image so it's not this Canadian boss with his skis and his little toque. What I'm trying to explain is... Just give me 1 second here. This guy, this big guy right here. So I'll take that and I'll shift it over. And this is what I was trying to talk about in my little description. So like... See the shape of this image. Normally I would like, okay, like just pay attention to this image here. You'll see it starts to clip. Like I'll include the leg of the guy right next to him. So what I initially wanted to do with automating this was just to have it so it'd be like, it shows him, then it goes to the next, then the next, then the next, then the next. But as you can see, like there's, like it's not exact. So a workaround is to... So again, going to Frostman because he's quite wide. I would either A, I have to stretch this out, which is, I'm not going to do that. Or B, I would have to stretch out these vertices and, you know, adjust it as I go. It's not the end of the world. But to automate that would be difficult because now I'm like moving, like taking like all these vertices and like... My initial idea was just to take it and move it over. Take it, move it over, move it over. Like, you know what I mean? So it's... I might just end up making each of these objects, these planes. For example, like that will be the specific Frostman plane, and the next one will be this guy, Grenade Man, and so forth. And there's a lot of bosses on this sheet, so that's... Well, I don't know who these guys are. I've never seen these, like... Bullman and, like... Catman and Aquaman. I don't know these guys, but what I'm saying is rather than moving around my little texture map or this little UV map, I might just make individual objects and then assign them specifically. So yeah, I kind of want this whole project, like this video, to be animated like in real time as it plays kind of thing. So I might have to come up with some workarounds. Also, I like that little effect. His foot's behind and his other foot's facing like across the board. It's cool. That's what I like about these transparent images. Like I can rotate them very specifically, so they kind of like intersect with each other. It's kind of cool. But yeah, what else? I can't even remember what I was talking about. I was just gushing about the lighting and then talking about... Yeah, okay, yeah, sorry, that little notebook idea I had. So there is a little... There's a reason I picked Frostman. Let me just start with that before I ramble and lose my train of thought here. So with Frostman, like, okay, so in his stage, there's something that, like, there's a section of Frostman's stage. Okay, you're on like a little snowboard and you're going through the level, and there comes a point in the level where you'll get this little traffic sign that just floats next to you, and it starts telling you to like to jump or to slide, right? So it's, I don't know. I'm not doing it justice. Okay, like I'm really not doing it justice. But let me just bring it in really quick. What I'm saying is, for Frostman's remix, like for his stage specifically, I'll have the boss icon, the color, the weapon icon, the visualizer will change to his color. But I also want to include that little piece of his level into the video. I might do an SFX, I might find it and include it, but I just feel like it would give it a little bit of polish, because right now it is kind of samey. If you get what I mean, like I don't know, just little attentions to detail like that no normal person would really care about, but I would, because I'm putting so much damn time into this thing. So I feel like if it's gonna have detail, it's gonna have a lot of detail. Because I don't know. If anything, like I don't mean it like that. What I mean is, like, all these little details I keep adding are actually just, I don't know. They're like little exercises for me that just help me get more and more familiar with Blender's UI, and how I go about achieving these little ideas in my head. And I'm trying to not let scope creep in, but it already kind of has. So, like, initially, I just wanted to have this rotating helmet, maybe zoom it in, and then just play the remix. But as you can see, this project has grown a little bit. You could say that. I spent 2 hours learning how to do that. So, I'm gonna try and limit the scope creep and actually try and just continue working on this so it actually gets done. Otherwise, I don't know, there's like that sunk cost fallacy thing where it's like the more time you spend on something, I mean, like, the less returns you get out of it. And I don't know, I kind of do want to move on to something else. I do like making my little 3D swords and, like little art projects and stuff, because this I'll admit, this is actually kind of like where, like, getting on my nerves a little bit. And if anything, I guess this could be like a series of small projects, like this little meter that's filling up and down. That was a project in of itself. So uh, I don't know, the texture mapping, like learning how to get this custom font in for, like, oh my god, is a nightmare. But yeah, so I'm gonna stop rambling. I'm just gonna quickly copy this guy over, and just because it's easier to explain what I'm trying to do here. And what I will do is I really should set up these tabs properly. I've been like mixing and matching what I'm doing, and I'm not really paying attention to them. So that is kind of hampering my workflow. So I probably should take some time to clean those out. But yeah, moving on. So I don't want this to be a boss. I'm just gonna call this. That has to be specific because it's me. I don't know. I'll just call it jump sign or jump. That's good enough for me. Jump. That's good enough. Okay, so I will change this now. This little guy. This jumping signal animation. So I do intend to have it animated too. So I'm going to have to learn how to chop these up into individual parts, and then just a whole lot of tedious technical work, honestly. I mean, like, it's not really exciting. I'm not gonna lie. Like, this is actually a pretty boring stream, because you're pretty much seeing me do something extremely repetitive and extremely boring. So my apologies for that. But I mean, I'm not really doing this to like entertain people. Like, I know that sounds kind of stupid, seeing how as I am posting these to YouTube, but I do want to document this process because I feel like it's a lot of work goes into this. And I don't know, I guess maybe 5 years from now, I'm gonna look back at this and be like, man, I sucked at streaming. But like, not just that, but I want to look back and understand that, like, all the stuff that I'm doing, or like when I look at other people and I aspire to be like them, you kind of got, like, I want to remind myself that that stuff takes time. Like, that takes a lot of time and practice, right? So I don't know. I guess that's what the whole point of me streaming these things are. It's just to archive all that effort and all that time I put into it, just so I can see, I can remind myself that, things take time to develop, and to hone your skills, and to learn all these different technical things that really get in the way of this project. And I'm getting sidetracked again. I'm just going to quickly demonstrate what I'm talking about. I don't know, I feel like I've honestly wasted so much time, or enough of your time. That looks horrible. So to fix that horrible image, I'm just going to reset this. And again, like you can even see, like, this is taking me so much time just for this one really niche thing that I don't think anyone would care. It'd be like, oh, cool, it's a traffic sign, right? But I don't know, I feel like, there might be some, like, fans of this series that'll watch this video in, like, 100 years when I finally get it done. But no, I mean, like, I don't know, I just like putting in this effort, right? It just this looks so bad. But yeah, okay, so this is what I'm talking about. So this, like, imagine this is animated and spinning around like this, like this. And yeah, so just, like, the music's playing and the music isn't playing. Music's playing. I'm just gonna minimize that. And then this little animated thing comes in the way, and it starts screaming at you, or it's just something to, like, just like an extra bit of detail, that I'm putting in. So, but again, that adds to scope creep, because if I do want to go through with that idea, now I gotta think. I'm like, okay, so let's go back to that boss sheet. How many bosses are there in this game? Like, what is Cutman's gimmick? Like, I don't know. I've never played, like, 1 to 6, so that's a lot of games I didn't play in this series. I pretty much played from 7 onward, like, except these weird guys. I don't know who those are, but what I'm getting at is I'm gonna have to go through each game and take a piece from their level that's specific to them, and then throw it in the video, maybe animate it or something, or get, like, an SFX that plays. And yeah, just a whole, just a lot of niche stuff, like, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of stuff that doesn't really add much to the video, but I feel like it would add a little bit of extra flavor to it, so I feel like it's something worth doing. And I feel like, sometimes when I'm working on, like even when I'm working on music, I noticed, like, sometimes it just feels good to work on, like, those smaller things that are going to be easy, or they're not going to take so much time. Like the lighting, for example, like, that was a very, like, you saw, it maybe took me, like, a minute to do. Like, maybe like a few more minutes than, I don't know, like, how long it took. But just that small little effort turned out to be such a huge change to me, right? It just drastically improved how I look at this. So I think if I'm gonna add this little detail in here somewhere, I don't know, like, I'll fly it in or something like that. But I don't know, anything I can do to keep this engaging for myself, you know what I mean? Like, I want to make sure that I'm enjoying my time spent on this thing, that I'm not dreading it. And I'll be real with you right now, like, because I guess I've been at this for, like, the last week or so, but I've been feeling a little bit of a burnout from this. It's not a big deal. I'm not, like, saying that I'm gonna, yeah, so yeah, like that. That's what I'm talking about. Imagine it would, like, it's not just like a flat plane rotating. It would actually look like, like a sequence of images, or like a little movie file. Then it would actually have, like, proper rotations. But yeah, I don't know. I'll admit I'm getting a little bit annoyed with this project, but I feel like for what I've done in the last few weeks, I've made a ton of progress on this. So let's see what happens. I might take a break from this and just do music streams, or you know what? Tomorrow, on Friday, I was just concerned. I was like, why am I recording? I'm just gonna stop recording because I don't know what I did to record that. Anyway, yeah, so what I'm gonna do on Friday is I'm gonna be playing a game, that pirate game. Well, it's not a pirate game, it's that Dread Hunger game. I don't know if you've heard about it. I didn't hear about it till like early February, but yeah. I might just play that game and, take it easy, do a stream with them. Or maybe not, because I feel like, I just want to introduce them to the game and I'll probably swear at them and yell at them when they betray me, so I don't know if I'll stream that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'll admit, I think I need a break from all this creative stuff. Like, I need to take time to just zone out and take in stuff, you know what I mean? Like, stop thinking so much about this. Stop trying to, like, output, like, a stream and, like, try to spin my tires, essentially. So I think I'm going to game out for a bit, unwind and relax. Maybe watch some, like, spooky YouTube videos or something. I found this cool channel actually recently. What's his name? Stylized Station. So I don't know. I like looking at like technical art breakdowns of like, again, like really niche stuff. Like he talks about like how like there's a video I saw of like how water shaders are made and like how they're used in video games and really interesting stuff. Like if you're not into 3D modeling or technical stuff, then it's kind of pointless. I mean, it just looks like water. So what? But to me, it's like that is cool. It's like how can I incorporate that into my workflow? I mean, I don't really want to do like water waves and physics and stuff, but I don't know. I think it'd be cool. I mean, look at this thing for example. This waveform is actually just a flat plane. It's just like a flat sheet, right? And as you can see, it just has like a whole bunch of divisions into it for whatever reason because I had to follow the tutorial like that. And I'm not exactly sure like the exact specifics about this, but I can demonstrate it to an extent. When this sphere moves around, it actually I'll just put on the shader. When that sphere moves around, it's actually displacing this little waveform. Like, so if the sphere keeps moving around, that waveform keeps moving. And the additional component to that would be the sound is changing. So if I go to this modifier, the sound in the video, if you look here, the sound itself from the music is causing it to bump like up and down like that. So the up and down bumping paired with this little sphere that I can't, this moving along gives you that. I think I messed it up, but I don't really care. It's a temporary thing. Like I said, this is not permanent. I just want to get the systems in place to understand like how, I don't know, like what do I need and how do I organize everything. Like this, for example, is actually kind of painful to use. I do not like the fact that it's like off screen, like when I'm using it. So, like I said, the idea isn't to get it like in a it's just to get it in working condition. I'll refine it much later. So, but yeah, I don't know. I think I made pretty good progress here. I didn't really do much, to be honest. I kind of just changed the title of the boss and then I don't know, changed the lighting. That's pretty much all I did here. But yeah, I don't know. I think this is good. I think it's a good lesson to learn that I can't just keep up at this for like hours upon hours spinning my wheels, right? I gotta take a bit of time, plan out what I want to do, and then get to it. I think, actually, to be honest with you, this little animation, this thing here, it really took a lot out of me just because it was, I don't know, just 2 hours of fiddling around with it and going through all these menus and doing all this reading and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I think it paid off in the end. Like, I'm pretty happy with that because it's a really cool effect. And just so you get an idea of what's going on here, so I'll move that cube again. So pay attention to this top here, okay? Like you'll notice there's two, one in front and then the actual bar. When I'm moving it down, you see how it's squishing? Like you see it's full, and then as I go down, it starts to crunch and crunch and crunch. that's what the effect is, first of all, but that's also why I have that thing in the front, because it's hiding that squishing effect. You see what I mean? So I don't know, just doing that the other day really took a lot of time and kind of put me off on, not put me off. I mean, it, I don't know, I'm just rambling. I'm going in circles here. What I'm saying is I'm a little bit tired working on this. So I think, I don't know, we'll see what happens. Tomorrow I'll probably just game out with everyone and, have fun, watch some videos and stuff, and then I think Saturday I'll pick this up again, but yeah, I don't know, like the whole, like I want to stream these things because I want to be like, documenting it and all, but then I realized like a lot of it is just this, like it's just a still image. You have some random guy talking about spooky stories, and then it's basically just me like on my other screen here, just quickly googling like a problem I have, or looking through a sprite sheet and then trying to like pinpoint something that I need, and then converting that sheet. So like for example, this jump guy, right? This little traffic sign. I actually was hoping that it would be animated, but now I'm gonna have to figure out a way to do it. So doing it on stream is kind of annoying, like to you as the viewer, because it's literally just nothing is happening on screen, right? And I kind of feel bad about that. I kind of feel like, I should be showing you something, right? And yeah, so I guess next video I'll explain how I made this little waveform thing. I mean, it kind of just appeared out of nowhere, and like I said, I want to document what I'm doing, so I don't know, I just don't have it in me tonight. I'm just gonna, I don't know, I'm just gonna take it easy now and worry about this on Saturday or Sunday or Monday, but I don't know, I gotta pace myself. I mean, like, considering the scope of this project, it is pretty pretty massive compared to everything I've done up until now, but I don't know, slow and steady, right? I'm not in any rush to finish this any like for a deadline or anything like that. It literally might take me all year to do this, which I really hope it doesn't, because I feel like a lot of the work has been done already. I got the visualizer to a suitable point where I literally just have to go in, or let's say for example this, okay, this waveform. If I wanted to change these colors, it's as simple as just coming here and then playing around with it, right? So it's like, oh, okay, now it's a green boss remix or something. You get what I mean? So a lot of like, this is the whole point of me setting up these systems like this, because if I'm gonna be doing like 90 bosses, like just in the classic series or something, then I want to make sure that I'm not setting this up every time for like every different boss. I want to make it as easy as I can for myself, just so it's like a simple switch this, move that kind of thing. So I don't know, it's coming along nicely. I have no regrets towards this. I just kind of had to learn the hard way, I guess, that you can't just force yourself to do this all the time. It gets boring, like I'll admit it. Like, it gets boring to read through all these documents and convert all these things, and I don't know. I mean, I think I've reached my limit with this. I think I'm just gonna end the stream here and shut up and stop rambling. So my apologies if this was a boring stream, or if it's been boring the last few days, weeks maybe, but I don't know. I'll figure out a balance here. I think I'll try to do the research stuff off stream and get it to work. So for example, this waveform, I did that off stream, right? I was just lazy that day. I didn't want to stream. But then I realized, I'm like, maybe it's a good thing. Maybe I do it off stream, I get it in the video, and then during the stream, I can just hide it and remake it to demonstrate how I got it done. Because that way, well, number one, it's entertaining to watch. Oh, maybe not entertaining, but it's educational. It's something you can enjoy during the stream. And number two, it takes away that awkward pause where it's just like that. It's just a still screen. And I'm like looking at the other one and, typing away and trying to figure stuff out. So Yeah, I think this is a good learning lesson. I think I'll stick with that. So yeah, I don't know what the plan for next stream is gonna be, but I'll do a little bit of planning here. I'll just organize my assets, or even because like look, this is like a nightmare to go through. So much unused stuff. So off stream, I'll go through, rename, categorize, and organize my little files and set everything up all neat and tidy. And then when it comes stream time, I'll just chip away at it, and then every now and then I'll just try to explain how this works, or like how I ended up creating it, because you never know. Maybe like for that waveform, for example, maybe I'll create an entirely new one, and I'll be like, oh, that one looks even better. So I'll just scrap the old one now, and I'll use this new one. Like, you get what I mean? It's I don't know. It's like an iterative process here. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do that next stream. I'm gonna plan out what I want to do, and I'll just figure stuff out off stream, and then try to teach how I did it and redo it, kind of thing. But yeah, it kind of sucks. I don't, I didn't even know what the goal of this stream was. I really did want to do the other bars and stuff like that, but then like just the thought of it kind of, it didn't seem fun anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was thinking about it. I was like, oh, I gotta set it up again and line it up and separate it. Like, look, this is like one, two, yeah, three pieces right here. The case to the weapon, the little meter that fills up, like the ticks, and then the copy of the I don't know what you'd call it, a cap or like a lid. So yeah, it just didn't seem fun at the time to or this stream to do that. So maybe next stream I'll do that. I'll fix them up and I'll figure out how to do the sliding stuff. And then the next thing I actually wanted to keep in mind was this controller here. This cube needs to be somewhat, like, preferably I would want it, like, you see what I mean? Like, if it's down here, it's already filled a bit, so I would kind of want it to be at the bottom, and then I can just raise it up and down, like an interactive little slider in 3D. I'll figure that all out like later. I'll probably, maybe I'll do it on stream, but I'll probably try and figure it out off stream. So yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna end it here. So like I already said, like, I apologize and everything, but if you have any questions, feel free to ask, and hopefully when I do another one, like another stream, it might be a music one. It might be another 3D one. I mean, like, this 3D is kind of taken over, to be honest, but it's just because I have so many of these ideas that keep cropping up, and I want to keep implementing them, like, before it's not too late, but I just want to get them in there, like, in a very, like, this is a very crude form, right? But I'll refine it later, but now it's like, oh, okay, it works. I know how to do that to an extent. I probably have to study it a little bit more, but yeah, I don't know. I got nothing else to say. I'm just gonna mute myself and just end it here. So yeah, I don't know. Thanks for watching.